Welcome back to the Chanel. If you're watching the charts today, it probably feels like déjà vu. The market is flat, not crashing, not exploding, just hovering. Bitcoin is sitting comfortably around $89,000, barely moving on the day. Ethereum has drifted back toward the $3,000 range, again showing no meaningful momentum in either direction. BNB, XRP, and most of the other large-cap names are doing the same thing. Sideways, quiet, almost boring. This kind of market can be frustrating. Volatility is what excites traders. It's what brings attention, engagement, and emotion back into crypto. When the majors stop moving, people start asking uncomfortable questions. Is the cycle over? Is this distribution? Are we headed for another long consolidation phase? But seasoned participants know that flat markets are often the most deceptive. Sideways price action doesn't mean nothing is happening. In fact, it often means something is happening, just under the surface. Markets don't move in straight lines. They move in phases: expansion, contraction, consolidation, rotation. And right now, we're firmly in a rotation phase where the money is actually going. While Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana take a breather, another part of the market has quietly started to wake up. The meme sector, Memecoins as a category, are up roughly 4% on the day. That might not sound dramatic at first, but context matters. When memes move while the majors stall, it usually signals a shift in risk appetite. Capital doesn't leave the market. It rotates. And when investors feel that Bitcoin's short-term upside is capped, they start looking elsewhere. This is how alt seasons begin, not with fireworks, but with whispers. The altcoin index has been slowly creeping higher, suggesting that traders are beginning to take on more risk. This doesn't mean everyone is aping into low-cap coins blindly. It means capital is exploring, testing, positioning. Historically, this is where narratives start forming, and memes thrive on narrative mint. Meme coins aren't just jokes, they're social instruments. They reflect mood, sentiment, and collective psychology more clearly than almost any other sector in crypto. When memes move, it's often because people feel comfortable again, comfortable enough to speculate, comfortable enough to believe. And belief is the most powerful force in this market. The psychology of sideways markets. Sideways markets are where conviction is tested. When prices are exploding upward, everyone feels like a genius. When prices are crashing, fear takes over. But when the market goes flat, that's when boredom creeps in. Doubt grows quietly. Attention drifts elsewhere. This is where most people lose interest. And that's precisely why opportunity exists. Long consolidations shake out weak hands. They drain emotion. They reset expectations. By the time the next move arrives, most people aren't ready for it. Crypto history is full of moments like this. Long periods of nothing, followed by violent expansions that feel sudden only because people stop paying attention. Which brings us to Toshi, enter Toshi, quiet by design. Now let's talk about the blue cats. Toshi has been doing what it always does, staying quiet. One post a day on Twitter, one meme. No over-marketing, no desperation. No constant hype cycles trying to manufacture attention. That alone separates it from 99% of meme coins. Today's message was simple but telling. You feel it before you see it. Anyone who's been in crypto long enough understands that line. Before price moves, sentiment moves. Before sentiment moves, energy shifts. Something subtle changes. People start talking again, not loudly but consistently. Toshi has always leaned into that energy. It doesn't try to force narratives. It lets them form organically. And right now, the narrative forming is familiar. The 3-month downtrend context. Dope Oxide mentioned something important. Toshi has been in a 3-month downtrend. That sounds bearish at first glance, but context matters. The entire market has been in a 2 to 3 month downtrend or consolidation. Bitcoin topped, cooled off, Ethereum followed, Solana slowed, liquidity tightened, attention moved away. This is not abnormal. This is how markets breathe. Every major expansion phase in crypto history has been followed by a consolidation phase. The purpose isn't punishment, it's preparation. It allows leverage to flush out, weak conviction to exit, and stronger hands to accumulate quietly. What goes down must go up, and what goes up must come down isn't just a saying, it's market physics. Downtrends aren't the enemy. Extended stagnation is often the prelude to violence in either direction. Accumulation happens in silence. One of the strongest recurring themes in the Toshi community right now is quiet accumulation. People aren't screaming about price targets. They're not spamming rocket emojis. They're stacking, waiting, watching. Lawrence Garcia summed it up perfectly. 1 full year of holding Toshi, grateful, calm, confident. That kind of sentiment doesn't come from hype. It comes from alignment between community, narrative, and expectations. Crypto communities usually fall apart when price goes down. Infighting starts, blame gets thrown around, people argue about devs and marketing and what went wrong. That hasn't happened here. No beef, no drama, just people staying present. That's rare. Community as an asset. In Memecoins, community is the asset. There's no cash flow, no revenue, no balance sheet. Value comes from collective belief, shared culture, and consistency of participation. The best meme communities don't grow during pumps. They grow during boredom. Toshi's community has stayed intact through a multi-month downtrend. That matters more than most people realize. When price eventually moves, these are the communities that expand explosively, because the foundation is already there. The pattern, quiet, then cow. One phrase keeps coming up again and again. Every time Toshi goes quiet, the next move comes out of nowhere. This isn't superstition, it's pattern recognition. Markets punish predictability. When everyone expects a move, it usually doesn't happen. When attention fades, liquidity thins, and thin liquidity is what allows price to move violently. Silence doesn't mean inactivity. It often means positioning. Silence for the doubters, violence to the upside. It sounds like a meme, but it captures a real phenomenon. When doubt peaks, supply dries up. When supply dries up, it doesn't take much demand to move price more. Why you can't time it. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You cannot time this perfectly. Anyone who tells you they know exactly when the breakout will happen is lying, to you or to themselves. Markets move when conditions align, liquidity, sentiment, narrative, positioning, attention. You don't see alignment in advance, you see it after the move has already started. That's why the biggest gains always feel sudden, slowly, then suddenly, the comfort trap. One of the most dangerous things in crypto is comfort. Right now, people are comfortable again. Volatility is low, price isn't threatening, the fear has faded, but the excitement hasn't returned. This is the zone where people stop watching closely, and that's usually when something happens. Toshi isn't gone, it's waiting, letting people get comfortable, the meme market as a leading indicator. Historically, memes have often moved before broader altcoin rallies. Why? Because memes are pure sentiment. No fundamentals to delay reaction, no valuation models, just belief and liquidity. When memes start outperforming majors, it's often a signal that risk appetite is increasing, even if the rest of the market hasn't caught up yet. That doesn't guarantee immediate upside, but it does suggest the market is warming up. Why this phase matters more than pumps. Anyone can hold during a pump. Conviction during green candles is easy. What defines outcomes is what people do during silence. This is the phase where positions are built, not chased, where narratives are internalized, not broadcast. By the time Twitter timelines are screaming again, the move is already halfway done. Hope, but with perspective. It's okay to be bullish. Optimism is part of the game, but real conviction isn't loud. It doesn't need constant reassurance. The strongest hands aren't hoping for tomorrow, they're prepared for whenever. Hopefully it's now. Hopefully it's not months away. But if it is, the groundwork is still being laid. Final thought. Toshi doesn't need to announce itself. When it moves, you'll know. Not because someone told you, but because the chart suddenly stops being quiet. Until then, the market remains flat, the majors rest, the memes stir, and the blue cats wait. I'm bullish. If you're watching this video, like and subscribe.